Be ready. 15 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Mr. Deputy Chairman, so far as the principles underlying this bill are concerned, I am in full agreement. I also find that the provisions of this bill are an improvement upon the various provisions of the Essential Supplies Powers Act 1946, which this bill proposes to replace, and I would like to congratulate the government for implementing the recommendations of the committee which you so ably presided over. But I shall soon point out to you that very many important recommendations which your committee was good enough to make have not been implemented in the provisions of this bill. I agree with the Honorable Minister that in a planned economy, it is essential that the government should have such reserve powers as they seek under the provisions of this bill. It is imperative that they should have powers to regulate the production, supply, and distribution at correct prices of the commodities which are most essential for the life of the community. And I find that most of the governments of the different countries in the world today possess such reserve powers in a small or a big measure. In the United States of America, which still believes largely in a laissez-faire economy, they have such powers in a very big measure. Therefore, I don't grudge the grant of such powers to the government, but as has been pointed out by my honorable friend, the mover of this bill, there is no immediate necessity of enforcing the provisions of this bill because we have passed through the era of plenty as has been pointed out by my honorable friend. But we must take lessons from our experience in the past when the control measures were there, and you have in your report very ably pointed out as to how these defects could be removed. But I would like to view this measure from a little different angle. We have got to view this measure from two different angles. We have to keep in view the big towns, the small towns, and the big centers of production. We have to control production and distribution by big undertakings, and we have to maintain supplies in big towns and cities where the government machinery is functioning and we see so many officers there. But we have also to keep in view that we have got to regulate production. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I associate myself wholeheartedly with the suggestion made by Professor Ranga that postal life insurance should be thrown open to the general public. Incidentally, I may say that I am glad to find myself on this occasion in company with Mr. Bhupesh Gupta also. They say that one is known by the company one keeps, but I only wish that I shall not be judged by the little company that I am going to keep with Mr. Gupta. I have said that I associate myself with the suggestion made by Professor Ranga. I have called it a suggestion because it can only be suggested to the government to take such a step at some subsequent stage because, so far as this bill is concerned, this suggestion could not be incorporated therein. My friend Mr. Gupta has unnecessarily criticized the government for not having incorporated this in the bill itself, though it is well and good to make the suggestion for the government to adopt. There can hardly be an occasion now for us to accuse the government for not having incorporated this suggestion in the bill itself because postal life insurance cannot be thrown open to the general public by any amendment of the Life Insurance Act. That has to be done by amending the Postal Life Insurance Act, and I hope and trust that the government will take note of this suggestion, which I hope has the support of every member of this House, excepting of course, my revered friend Mr. H.P. Saxena, who, at least on this occasion, is grievously in the wrong, though generally he is very much in the right, and I have no doubt that on sober consideration he will be sorry for having opposed the suggestion of Professor Ranga. Sir, there is a general feeling in the country, a feeling with which most of the members, I believe almost every member here would be in agreement that insurance business should be nationalized, though in due course. And I think the first step that the government might take in that direction is to throw open the postal life insurance to the general public. Thereby, we shall also be in a position to know as to how the government would fare in the business if it is undertaken on a large scale because they are unable to put in the adequate organization. Sir, I am as dejected today as I was on the day the finance minister presented the budget. The description of the problems is correct, but the proposed solutions are not acceptable to us. I do not agree with the concept that linking the Indian economy with the world economy will improve the situation. By world economy, we mean the combined economy of the G7 nations. These nations, taken together, account for 12% of the world's population and 70% of the world production. How can we compare the economy of poor countries like India with the economies of those nations when the per capita income in India is rupees 4,000 and the per capita income in USA is rupees 5 lakhs, and in the case of G7 it is between rupees 4 lakhs and rupees 5 lakhs. The needs of the Indian people are different from those of the people of America, Britain, and Japan. When we return from visits to foreign countries, we talk about the developments in those countries and want to know why such developments do not take place in India.